Yeah, Mike's gonna do a demo on sharpening.
Okay, this isn't really much of a demo, it's more of a recap. And so, those of you who want to sharpen plane blades can do that.
I'm just gonna assist.
And Russ has been through this earlier today, so he is my assistant.
Yeah.
So this blade has been sharpened on the rough side. This wheel has been dressed so that it would be rough. It can be dressed two ways: rough surface or smooth surface. And you do that by just running it on here and run it back and forth. And you can usually tell it's working because it cleans there's usually some dirt on the wheel and it cleans it right off. So that's how you make sure that you're ready to go. Now for the plane blades, for the boat build, these are the planes we're going to use. All we need to use is the rough surface. And this is talking today about the people who are going to do the plane blades. And to get this thing set up to go, I had some water.
Well, just put it down there.
You bring this container, which is full of water now, so I can take it out. There shouldn't be any water in it initially, but you might have some sludge in the bottom, and if you have sludge in the bottom, just take let's leave this with the machine. You can just scrape it loose and dump it outside so you have the bottom of the pan clean.
You want to think that?
No, we've been using it this morning. It's okay. All right, so the older model is what this is. So this is a little trickier to get the pan where you want it. We'll get it out. There's a little flash on it so that the wheel is in the water. You add water in the pan up to a ridge. There's a ridge here. If you go over the ridge, the pan will leak. That's why we have this pan underneath to catch the leakage. So it needs a little more water. Put some water in here. Bring it up to the ridge. There, it's full.
The wheel soaks up a lot of water.
Yeah, you have to do it 2 or 3 times to get it soaked up before you start. And of course you run it, and it'll soak up the water. Okay. You should know the diameter of the wheel if you want to use this device to get the right angle on your bevel. This piece here helps you determine what bevel you're using. This bevel's 25, but if you want it at 25, you need to know the diameter of this wheel, which is now 9 inches. It's worn down from 10. So John had it for a while before we got it. And then you set this dial at 25, of course. It's 25-degree bevel.
You might point out that you can read the diameter off the scale on
You
the.
read the diameter here.
You can read it on the machine too to tell how big the wheel actually
I don't
is.
trust it.
Don't you?
Yeah, I don't trust it. I don't know. Can you read it on this machine?
Yeah.
Does it say 9 inches?
230. This side is in millimeters.
It's in millimeters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn,
Yeah.
So what's it
Whatever a
say?
millimeter is. Yeah.
What's it say in millimeters?
235.
235? Yeah.
Sorry,
about
guys,
the
the whole
2:30.
rest is a little.
Okay, well, I have it set at a little less than 2:30. So it's a little, it's off a little.
Yeah.
So I would measure. What I do that on mine anyway. And mine's new enough that it doesn't matter. Now, if you need, sometimes the wheel will be bowed or it'll have a ridge on it. You may need to redress the wheel. And that's what this truing tool is for. You won't have to use it very often. Most of the time you're not going to have to use it. But it just slides on here.
I got a question. When you start dressing your blades, do you
The blades?
always check to make sure your wheel is true? I
Yes.
mean, is it one of those, if you skip that step, you're kind of working
Yeah,
against yourself?
you should check and see. And that's the reason you're doing this too. Because if the wheel wears a little bit, it's going to be, And so that's a good point. So the way I had it set up here, you have to be careful when you do this. I'm not going to do it now. Because it's hitting on this. But if you go to the edge, I think, well, they're both the same. But at any rate, we did it once this morning. Make sure this gets into the edge here. And then when you're grinding, you tighten it and you can run it across the wheel and it'll give it an even surface. This surface is already even, so you don't have to deal with it. Chances are you're not going to. Because for one thing, when you do the surfacing, it ensures that it's pretty flat anyway. But if you get the feeling that it's out around a little, that's when you need this. We fiddled with it and got it working earlier today. I'm not going to spend the time fiddling with that. What we want to do is get to the important stuff here. And that's this tool, which is used to sharpen the blade. Take one of the blades out here.
Yeah, there's one here.
You already have one out?
Yeah, I took one out. This is it here. This is the second one I took out.
Okay. So, yeah, this has a little bit of rust on the surface. And it was resharpened a couple of times on the flat stones as it was being worked at the boat build, which is real easy to do because this is a concave cut. You can find your bevel here with your fingers and just go back and forth a few times, and it will resharpen the blade for you to use while you're working. Okay, now I have 400 and then an extra fine, and then this ceramic really hones it nicely. So if you run it on the ceramic, this is the same thing, just a small broken piece. If you run it on the ceramic with some water, that'll take the burrs off. Now, this also does that. So let's set it up to do the blade. The quick and dirty way to do this, which is usually all you need, as opposed to using the guide here to make sure it's all right, is take the felt marker, run it on the blade. And it's probably good with these blades to put it in about to here, showing on this side, so that you don't have the jig catching on the wheel, because it will if it's too close. And this automatically squares it for you. Okay, so that's all nice ridge there. And then you can eyeball it and see how close it is, or isn't. Fiddle with a little bit. Okay. I'm going to run this across and see what it looks like. You can see that it needs to come out a little more because it wore the ink off on the front edge. So we'll fiddle with that a little bit. So the setting up takes a few minutes, but once you start, it's a little better. Still not quite in the middle though. It's a matter of taking your time. Almost there. I suppose it's close enough right now. I like it to wear in the middle. It shows that it's set up pretty well. Now this blade is flat, so it should show. Almost there. It's probably good enough. But I never quit until I go too far. Yeah, it's looking good. Okay. So, turn it on. Notice that the wheel's turning toward us on this. And just run it back and forth. You don't need to put a lot of pressure on it. Just keep it even. If there happen to be any gouges in the blade, you're going to have to grind that down on the regular grinder with water and the usual stuff. I'm sure you've all ground some blades on grinders, or overground some blades on grinders. Okay, so I didn't do it that much, but we'll see what happened here. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's coming. It's really good on this side. It needs to go a little more to get it all. Of course, this thing has been used a lot, so I don't know if it's as square as it could be, but it's square enough. I don't know how long. Anybody know how long John had this before he passed away? Probably a while, since it's the old model. That's pretty simple. It's really fast. When I first started out, I used one of those Veritas Mark IIs or whatever to do all the blades. It took me forever to do it by hand on those. With this, I just whip the thing out in an afternoon. At least I do a box at a time. So when you guys decide you want to do this, it isn't going to take you very long to do it.
There's only one speed on the wheel there?
Yeah, only one speed. And almost there, probably there.
This sharpening device, you can use it with chisels too, right? Hand chisels.
Anything flat. Okay. If you're using a gouge, this is the guy to use for a gouge, because you can rotate that, and it works real well. And if in doubt, We got the instructions, and we got an old instruction book that's good, and those are with the machine. So if you read it, it'll tell you.
There's also a million YouTube videos. Some of them
Yeah,
from
they're
that
the-
company.
Yeah.
We even have a couple now.
Right?
We even have a couple now.
There's just no way to play them here.
No, not here, but if you want to look at our website, we have YouTube.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, great. This one will be updated shortly. Right, right.
Okay, I'm gonna quit that. And get off of here. And this is a very broad wheel, so you can use the side of it. They tell you not to use the sides on the standard grinding wheels because there's possibility that they could break, and that would not be good.
And of course, none of us are wearing safety glasses.
You should wear safety glasses.
Yeah.
These work
Yeah.
that way, but yeah, I forgot about saying that. Do we have any safety glasses back there?
I don't know, maybe
We
not.
should probably put a pair back there.
We all wear glasses, so nobody thinks about it.
Yeah, the trifocals work pretty
It
well.
goes along with the gray hair and the beard.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, always works.
Don't ask for the old guy.
So this is looking pretty good right now. There's no rust on the blade. Blade looks sharp. So now I'm gonna flip it around. Now we have, I'll show you this. This is from mine. We have one of these Lazy Susan deals here. You just press down on it and you can spin the piece around, which saves you a lot of trouble. It's a real pain having to move this thing around 180 degrees.
Or you
If you have to lift it.
But back there it's in the end of the container, so you can't walk around.
And this,
You have to go outside.
and you can see it's gotten a little sloppy and this has picked up some water. So we should have some paper towels back there to keep
We
things
got
clean.
plenty.
Okay, so now I've dressed the wheel already. All you need is, if you don't have the Tormek expensive stuff, all you need to do is use some mineral oil or light machine oil to dress the leather, and then slowly put a little bit of honing compound on it. Not a lot. Doesn't take a whole lot. And you can see these extra wheels here are for gouges. So if you have concave things to deal with, you can deal with. And I still have the Tormek stuff at home, but I have a lot of Jeweler's Tripoli, which is the white stuff, which I'd use on here. And do you remember what the green stuff is? Is that chrome oxide, I guess? The little green bars that you use for honing. Have any of you used the green ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that?
I don't know what it is. But I mix that with mineral oil and melt it, and
Yeah.
then I've got a paste, which
Yeah, it works
is a
really
lot
well.
cheaper than buying Tormek paste.
Yeah, it's pretty aggressive. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Well,
more aggressive than using the Tripoli.
Yeah, I've got the white too. I've got both. Well, actually, I've got red and white done
Yeah.
that way. So I've
And
got
the-
little jars of each of them.
Yeah, the red doesn't do much more than polish. It's Jeweler's Rouge.
Yeah.
And then and then there's the orange stuff.
Well, there's black too.
And there's the black
That's
stuff.
the most aggressive, isn't it? I don't know. I use
Yeah.
them interchangeably. I can't discriminate between them.
Yeah, I'd say go for the white stuff generally, but we won't have to worry about that. I think we ought to just keep getting this, so there's no thinking about it. You know, just use it.
We'll see how long that probably lasts longer than
Oh, it'll
last
last,
year.
yeah, because I really didn't have to dress this now.
Well, it'll last too, but that stuff will be gone. I'll tell you what.
I've had one Tormek long enough.
I'm on my second too.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've had it for 33 years. Okay. And now,
Which one?
yeah.
Yep. I think that's
This
the
is
one you did.
Okay, so you could set up your jig on here so it does it perfectly, but I'm lazy. And notice it's turning away. It's like when you're going to sharpen a knife or something, it turns away. Okay. So I run it on here a little bit. And all you really need to do is take the burr off. And I basically took the burr off when I did it on the sun. Okay, let's see if that was enough. Take Russ's paper that he has provided for us.
Agenda for,
It's the agenda.
that's what I think of the agenda.
Pretty good. Now, I could probably hone it a little more on here. And notice, the old-fashioned quick and dirty way is to find your bevel and you have it, rather than like this, you have it like this. So it's, the edge is 90 degrees to you. And just run it back and forth like that. It works very quickly and very nicely for a quick hone. I guess that's an old time thing.
It makes sense though, because
Yeah.
when you do it this way, you know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
and then you round the end.
right. And it did, you can see where it actually did hone the edge a little bit. And this stuff is so fine that it definitely is for honing. We got that from Jim Litt. He donated this a long time ago. And it keeps getting close to being thrown away. I keep saying, no, don't throw that away, don't throw that away. And so we managed to keep it through the move, which is good.
And yet you're using that broken piece.
Well, that's mine.
Oh.
He gave me that one. It's the same spare. Okay, look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But don't run your finger across it,
Yeah, don't do it like that.
unless you got a Band-Aid handy.
At least a couple of stitches. And that's all there is to it. You know? Then when you're done, you just take this out and dump it and put the pan all the way down to the bottom so that this does not sit in water. Okay. You don't want it to sit in water unless you're going to use it. Okay.
What will happen?
It gets gunk into it, and it isn't evenly wet. And so, like, we had some gunk on it this morning where there had been some water left in it. And we had to clean it off.
It's called efflorescence, that white stuff.
Yeah.
Is it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Or gunk.
Or gunk.
Well, there's also gunk that sits in the bottom of the pan. That's
Oh
different.
yeah.
Don't see you spell.
The gunk in the bottom of the pan again is you scrape it out with this. With the newer machines, they have a magnet and a little plastic one in there that they just pick it up and clean it out. But we need to use that instead.
We could probably get one of those for $79.95.
Yeah, as
Everything
opposed to
Tormek
this.
sells is,
Yeah, somebody left this, I think. So,
yeah, that's a quality.
Yeah.
Quality tools.
For people who don't know, the family boatbill planes were purchased 13 and 14 years ago.
Yeah, $11 a piece, Harbor Freight.
And Mike has been dressing the irons every year. And if you pick one of these things up, you won't believe that it costs $11 or
Yeah.
$12.
Yeah.
Because Mike keeps them razor sharp, and we're only planing cedar.
Yeah,
So, the families, the families think,
edges of plywood.
Yeah, the edge of the plywood.
And screws.
Stainless steel. We clean a little stainless steel
They
every
usually look terrible by the end of the boat build, all of them do.
Yeah.
but, Mike has kept us going all these years, and that machine just.
This is perfect.
Time
Yeah.
saver,
Yeah, I used mine, I got it not that long ago, but I used it last year. You know, afternoon for each box. It could have done them all at one time if I wanted to. So it's open now for people here to do that. And it was very nicely put toward me not long ago. I said, maybe you might like to show the guys how to do these blades so they can help you in the future. Of course, I could drop dead tomorrow. So it's a good idea to have somebody here who can do it.
yeah.
Okay.
For instance, how long was that jacket you wearing?
Did you wear that during the war?
Well, this was, you know, there was a time when the style was to get the leather that wears out immediately.
Yeah.
My daughter talked me into getting this when she was in high school. It's comfortable. Yeah.
It's like a Fonzie coat.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's all there is to it, guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.